Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Black Bass Fisherman, episode 10. And today we're going to be going over fishing lines and what they're used for. These are some of the fishing lines I have out on the table today, and we're going to be talking about all the fishing lines and what they're used for. What fish species are these fishing lines good for? And there's a lot of different lines on the table, so we'll get into it right now. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is panfish and trout fishing line. Panfish cover bluegill, red ear, crappie, shell crackers, and warmouth. Now when I'm pan fishing or I'm trout fishing from trout anywhere from 8 inches to 14 inches, I like to use Stren Original 4-pound test. Now if the fish are super spooky, I'll use 4-pound test Stren Original. And I also will bump up to when I'm using a bottom rig with power bait, I'll use Stren Original 6-pound test. So anytime I can bump up a little bit and the water's a little cloudy, I will go up to Stren Original 6-pound test. Now when I'm using a medium light action rod and I'm throwing Castmasters and spoons, I'll go all the way up to Suffix copolymer 8-pound test line. This has superior abrasion resistance. It's got unmatched sensitivity and great knot strength. So once again, for the panfish, I'll stick with 4 and 6-pound test, Stren Original Clear Blue, or whatever 4 or 6-pound test you feel confident in. I won't go down to 2-pound because it snaps so easily, so I stick with 4-pound test. Now the next thing we're going to be talking about as far as fishing line goes is bass fishing. And I'll start off with bass fishing as light as 8-pound test, and I'll use the Suffix Advanced Hyper Copolymer. And this 8-pound test is used for my drop shotting or my wacky rigs. I mean, not wacky rigs, I'm sorry, excuse me, my shaky head. So a shaky head worm rig and a drop shot rig. And I'll back that up with Spiderwire 20-pound braid. And so I'll have a Spiderwire 20-pound main line, and then I'll tie that to a small swivel and use 8 to 10-pound fluorocarbon. Any fluorocarbon, 8 to 10 pound is what I use. This is 10-pound Stren fluorocast. I'm not sure if you can get this Stren anymore, but a good fluorocarbon is Trilene, 100% fluorocarbon, Stren Fluorocure, Yo-Zuri, and also Berkeley Vanish. Now when you're doing your drop shotting, you can go from 8 to 10-pound test, or you can go up to 12-pound because it is invisible. If you're around a lot of wood structure and a lot of rocky areas, go ahead and use 10-pound to 12-pound Berkeley Vanish. I've caught a lot of fish on this, and it's real good line. It does not snap. You know, I've gone through at least 10 to 12 fish before I have to retie my Berkeley Vanish. But after about 10 to 12 fish, you do want to retie because the chances of breaking off are high, especially if you're around a lot of cover. Now, as far as monofilament, I will use these, and I'll show them to you right now. So for bass fishing, if I'm fishing 1/2 ounce jigs to 3/8 ounce jigs, I'll use the Stren Clear Blue 14-pound test, you know. And I will also, if I'm throwing bigger jigs, I will throw the Trilene XT 17-pound test. This is jigs anywhere from 1/2 ounce to 3/4. Now, anytime I'm going over 1 ounce, I like to use braided line. So if I'm punching grass mats for largemouth bass and I'm around heavy cover and I'm throwing, let's say, a 3/4 ounce to 1.5 ounce jig, I'll use the Easy Braid made by Spiderwire. This is 30-pound test. I'll either use 30-pound test Easy Braid or I'll use 50-pound test Easy Braid fishing line. Now, once again, when I'm doing my drop shot, I like to use 20-pound braid to a 10 or 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, Trilene 100% fluorocarbon, or Berkeley Vanish. Now, these next groups of line are for catfish and striped bass. Now, I will go as low as Trilene Big Game. This is Trilene Big Game. This is 15-pound test. If you're catching catfish or striped bass that are, anywhere from 2 pounds to 7 pounds, I'll use the 15-pound test. Any striped bass or catfish that's going to be pushing 10-pound to 20-pound, I'll bump up to 17-pound. And this is Suffolk Siege Monofilament. This is a 17-pound clear. I'll use 17-pound for 10 and 15-pound catfish, and I'll use 20-pound for 10 and 15-pound catfish and striped bass. Now, when you start getting into the striped bass, that basically is going to be, anywhere from 30 inches and up. So striped bass that weigh anywhere from, I'd say, 15 to 20 pounds, and catfish that weigh 15 to 20 pounds, I'll go all the way up to the Trilene Big Game Clear 30-pound monofilament. This is Trilene Big Game Clear 30-pound monofilament. And I also use Stren High Impact Monofilament. And this also is made by Stren. It's called High Impact Monofilament 30-pound monofilament line. Now, the reason why you can get away with 30-pound monofilament fishing line is because the catfish and the striped bass are not line shy. They're not like a trout or a bluegill or a crappie that's going to get spooked by line. If the bait's there, they're going to take it. Now, if you go any heavier than 30-pound monofilament fishing line, you might as well switch to a braid. If you're going to go above 30-pound monofilament fishing line, it's time to switch to a braid. And the braids I like are Power Pro 50-pound test fishing line made by Power Pro. And I also like the 50 or the 65-pound braided line made by Spiderwire. Now remember, that's for all your big salmon, your striped bass, and your catfish that are pushing 20 pounds and above. You're going to want to switch to braided line 50-pound, 65-pound, or 40-pound. Once again, the highest I go up on any monofilament for all fishing, the highest I'll go is 30-pound line, monofilament, or fluorocarbon. If I need anything heavier than that, I immediately switch to braided line. So that's all, folks, and I'm glad you went with me this adventure, and we went over all the lines and what they're used for. So tune in next time with the Black Bass Fisherman, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps. So if this video was helpful to you, go ahead and comment and like the video. And thank you for all the helpful hints you've had in my previous videos. See you later, and see you next time.